Something absolutely fundamental is changing in the world of AI. We're seeing this massive leap from AI that just, matches patterns to AI that can actually reason. And look, this isn't just a simple upgrade. We're talking about a completely new kind of machine. Today, we're going to break down exactly what that means for all of us. So here's the big question, right? For years, people have wondered, is that AI you're using just a really, really fancy autofill? And honestly, for a long time, the skeptics were kind of right. These models were brilliant at predicting what comes next, but were they actually thinking? Well, the ground has totally shifted, and that's what we're diving into. So what is the big deal here? Well, it really all comes down to this difference between pattern matching and actual reasoning. Think of it like this. Pattern matching is like a student who has memorized a million flashcards. They know that 2 plus 2 is 4 because they've seen it 1,000 times. But a reasoning AI, that's like a student who actually understands the concept of addition. It can solve a math problem it has never, ever seen before because it gets the logic behind it. To put it another way, old school pattern matching is all about probability. It's basically the world's most powerful autofill. It can write a poem that sounds just like Shakespeare, but not because it feels the themes of love and loss. No, it's because it's scanned every sonnet ever written, and it just knows which words are most likely to follow each other. It's a statistical trick, really. Okay, so let's get a key term on the table. Inference. If you think of AI training as a student just cramming textbooks for months, then inference is the final exam. It's that moment of truth where the AI has to take all that learning and apply it to a completely new problem to come up with its own conclusion. It's the doing part of AI. And hey, here's a little fun fact to help you remember that. The word inference literally comes from the Latin word for to bring in. And that's exactly what the AI is doing, right? It's bringing in a conclusion based on all the facts it was trained on. Pretty cool. And this is where things get wild. AI reasoning is like giving the AI an internal monologue. Instead of just blurting out the first answer that pops into its head, it uses what's called a chain of thought to actually work through the problem step by step. It can even catch its own mistakes and fix them before you ever see the answer. It thinks before it speaks. So how did this even happen? I mean, what was the massive breakthrough that suddenly taught a machine how to think logically? Well, get this. The breakthrough wasn't just about writing better code. It was a completely new way of training these AIs. See, instead of just rewarding the AI for getting the final answer right, we started rewarding it for showing its work, for having the correct thinking steps. It's the difference between a kid who just writes 4 on their test and the kid who shows you exactly how they added 2 and 2 to get there. This new training method allows AI to move from what psychologists call System 1 thinking, that's the fast, gut reaction stuff, like answering what's the capital of France, to System 2 thinking. And that is the slower, more deliberate, more logical process you need for really complex problems, like, say, designing an entire carbon-neutral city. And the results? They're absolutely staggering. In 2024, a reasoning AI passed the uniform bar exam in the 90th percentile. Now, just stop and think about that for a second. This isn't about memorizing laws. This is about applying complex legal principles to brand new situations. It's a huge sign that AI is becoming a potential partner in reasoning itself. Okay, so let's pop the hood. What is actually happening inside the AI's brain when it's reasoning through one of your prompts? It all happens in a few key steps. First, it breaks down your prompt. Then, and this is the magic part, it starts a hidden internal monologue, that chain of thought we talked about, where it's actually solving the problem. And get this, if it hits a dead end or finds a mistake in its own logic, it can actually backtrack and correct itself, all internally. Only after all that work does it deliver the final, polished answer to you. This is such a massive deal for making AI more reliable. We've all seen those hallucinations, right? When an AI just confidently makes up facts. Well, a reasoning AI is way less likely to do that because it has this built-in fact checker that can catch its own mistakes before they ever get to you. But of course, an AI that can actually think for itself, well, that brings a whole new, very serious dimension to the conversation around safety and ethics. The old rulebook is pretty much being thrown out the window. This quote just nails the new challenge perfectly. For years, we worried that biased data would create biased AIs. Now, we have to worry about the AI developing a flawed or biased chain of logic. The problem has gone a layer deeper, from the ingredients to the recipe itself. Which brings us to this absolutely critical question. If the AI's thought process is hidden away inside a black box, how can we ever really trust its conclusions? Especially in high-stakes fields like medicine or finance. How do we audit a decision we can't see being made? The answer that researchers are chasing is traceability. The big goal now is to crack open that black box and make the AI's thinking steps visible to us. That way, a human expert can actually review the logic and spot any flawed reasoning before it can cause any real-world harm. This also totally changes what we mean by AI alignment. It's not just about giving the AI a long list of rules anymore. It's about teaching it the spirit of the rule, the why behind it. An AI that understands intent is so much harder for people to trick or jailbreak with clever prompts. And this ability to understand intent helps us avoid that classic monkey's paw problem, where you ask for something and the AI grants your wish so literally that it ends up causing a total catastrophe. A reasoning AI can understand what you mean, not just what you say, and that is a monumental leap forward for safety. So where is all this headed? I mean, let's be clear, this isn't science fiction anymore. These thinking machines are already being put to work in the real world, and they're changing how we solve some of our toughest problems. Think about self-driving cars. Reasoning is the difference between an AI just seeing a ball on the road and understanding that a child might be about to run out after it. In science, it's helping us figure out the incredibly complex structures of new proteins. And in finance, it's finding those tiny hidden risks in a 500-page contract that a human might completely miss. So here's the bottom line. We are living through a profound shift. We are moving away from an AI that's just a magic mirror, one that only reflects the data we show it, and we're moving toward an AI that is a true collaborative partner, one that's capable of genuine logic and deduction. So, as we stand here, right on the edge of this new era, I have to ask you, how do you feel about all this? Are you excited by the promise of a world where we can team up with intelligent machines to solve our biggest problems? Or does a machine with its own internal logic make you just a little bit uneasy? It's a big question, and it's one we're all going to be dealing with for years to come.